I had the privilege of chairing this panel that had a really deep look at what Australia might get out of medical research in the coming decades if it invested properly today. It was a very wide-ranging report, hundreds of pages, and a fabulous panel around me. I keep saying that I'm embarrassed that I lowered the IQ of that panel down on average, but so be it. It was terrific work. There were many things that came out of that report, but I'll emphasise two or three. The first is that we often think of research as just being, two or three people in a lab with lab coats and Bunsen burners or test tubes or whatever. Research is as broad as we want to make it. And one of the things we emphasised in this report, for example, was the importance of investing in research to make our system better. That may not actually require a whole lot of people with necessarily medical degrees. It might require people with competency in the social sciences, the behavioural sciences, even commerce, which is where I came from. But it's all research, and it's all with a focus on trying to make the system better. Another one of our very strong recommendations was the fact that on the one hand, we're very fortunate in this country to attract from amongst our young students the best and brightest who want to dedicate their lives to the health sector. That is wonderful. But so many of them, actually at a very young age, perhaps at university, find out that if they want to commit their lives, or even part of their lives, to the research function, that's actually a very big ask, because we don't remunerate typically our researchers very well. We expect an enormous amount of them, and for totally understandable reasons, many of them just say, a bit too hard, I'm just going to be a full-time clinician. And so we made this very strong recommendation that if we're going to get the best out of this wonderful cohort of people who are committing their lives to this vocation, we need to be better at saying, why can't you do both? We want you to be an outstanding clinician for a certain part of the week, and then we want you on a proper basis to set aside the rest of the week to be invested into research. Other nations frankly do this better than us, and we're just leaving something on the table which we're not properly exploiting. Our report went on and made all sorts of other recommendations. For example, making sure that we get our health research priorities right. We need to have a mix of early stage investigation, which may actually lead nowhere, through to a much more rigorous focus on translation. We need it all. But on top of all of that, we actually need a good body of well-credentialed people to make the call, how do we actually prioritise our funding, rather than just to leave it up to some ramshackle system.